Hey there and welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel. I am Dave, one of the hosts. No Andy or Kirk with me as we are doing album reviews today, and this album that I'm reviewing is a band called High Reaper, and the album is called Renewed by Death. It comes out on the 4th of October. It is an 8-track album. I've got the PR press release here, which I'm going to have a read afterwards. I never read the press releases before the actual review. I like to go into it completely blind. I might get an idea roughly of like the genre. But generally I wouldn't have any more than that before I go into it. That way I'm not prejudging. So yeah, I'm not going to go track by track either. Some of the other guys I know, Andy and Kirk, like to kind of break down the tracks. I like to give you an overall vibe, and that way if it's something you are interested in, you'll obviously get your own individual opinions. Now, this has definitely got elements of like the groove metal, thrash from this particular band. I definitely heard on the beginning, sort of the early tracks, elements of Justice for All, Metallica. That you can hear that in some of the production elements and some of the guitar layering. It is a bit of a raw production, so this is not going to be a multi-tracked, layered, crisp, overly produced album. There's a raw fuzzness to this particular production, which is very reminiscent of going back to the 80s. And I actually really enjoyed the kind of big fuzz guitar sound that they used on this. The vocal delivery style, it's kind of this barking, attacky attitude, which reminded me of bands like Raven, from the thrash elements, but also things like Tommy Victor Prong was something in there, and there is definitely a big Sabbath influence on this particular band. Lots of swagger, lots of attitude in there. It works at the time, but sometimes it can feel like the vocals are either full on or nothing, so it's lacking a little bit of subtlety sometimes. But if you're after just like thrash tracks out where you just want this vocal like in your face, they're very good at doing that. There's just some of that quality checking for me where the vocals can kind of sometimes feel a little bit like you're trying a little bit too hard there. But I did like his vocal delivery. Feels very single tracked vocal delivery as well, and that's going back to that production piece where rather than layering up vocals, etc., it's single tracked, a little bit raw, a little bit dry. Again, some people really like it. I like to have a little bit more warmth in the tone of the voice, but again, overall vocal delivery very good on this album. Great chuggy riffs. So if you're into your like, you're gonna love it. Big elements of doom, especially in things like Lamentations of the Pale. That was a very doomy track, very Sabbathy. You can feel that weight of a Black Sabbath coming through from these guys. I think my favourite track was probably Smouldering Remains, and that was one that, again, that kind of had a really big Sabbath feel, but also elements of Prong in there, which I really liked. Lots of similarities across lots of different genre of bands from the 80s and early 90s. We're going to have a look at the press release, see what it says, because I haven't read much about this. Now I'm going to tell you what I personally think of this particular album. So High Reaper is a heavy metal band from Delaware, Philadelphia. Shortly after forming in 2016, they were signed to Heaviside Records, or Heaviside Sound Records, sorry, I should say, and have since released 2 full-length albums and 1 split EP. They supported their first 2 releases with almost 90 dates across over 3 tours in Europe. Very well done. Including stops at HBS Fest Rome and Innsbruck, Desert Fest Berlin and Antwerp, headlining their venue at Desert Fest London. Oh, nice. Do you know that one? And the Esberger Festival and many other killer shows across abroad and in the US. Originally with a sound deeply rooted in modern stoner metal, which I can kind of hear, while still giving a nod to classic heavy metal records. High Reaper's sound has continued to evolve with each LP. Okay, so they've only done 2 LPs. It's not like they've done like a massive run of LPs, but make it sound bigger than it was there. And through lineup changes. Okay, so always interesting to see how the lineup changes impact the band. The result of which has helped produce their upcoming 2024 full length, which is a 35-minute assault of brand new metal, which finds the band looking clearly forward while at the same time exploring their influences from the 80s and early 90s. Yeah. So their first studio album, Renewed by Death, will see the day in the fall of 2024 with Heaviside Records. It was produced, recorded, mixed and mastered by Shane Trimble at the band's brand new studio. Okay, so it was done by the lead guitarist, so okay. Nice. So self-produced, and that can explain a little bit around some of the production elements. So with my band Telescribe, we did the same production ourselves. We do it in-house, and there are always things that it's great to do because you have full control, but there are always some elements that don't quite sound quite right. As I said, vocals for me was probably the thing that, because it's so forward to the front and it is the thing you're hearing constantly, it's the thing that you're following. Any slight altercation, whether it's going in the wrong direction or into your ears, it's in the wrong direction. It's the right direction for the band, obviously, because they put it out. But it can suddenly, you can be rocking out to a great little vocal delivery and you're like, yeah, 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 and then it goes off and goes, or somewhere, and you're like, whoa, whoa, what the hell was that? So just a little bit of that pre-production quality from me. And it is a little bit of an album of two halves. The early part of the album, when it first kicks in, feels very thrash, very groove, and then all the doom elements that in the stoner metal come in much later, or from about tracks 3, 4 onwards. And the second half of the album is very weighty and very Sabbathy. Now, we score our album reviews on a 4-tier system. So we have, for our best performers, our headliners, we have main support, we have opening bands, and if it's a bad album, we just say it's back to the rehearsal studio. Now for High Reaper and Renewed by Death, this could have been a headliner if the production on the vocals were better, but for me it's a main support. There are just some elements there that can put people off, but overall it's a really solid album. There's lots to get into here, lots to enjoy. If you're not over-analysing like we do over vocal productions. If you don't over-analyse it, there's plenty to enjoy there. But I think if you are actually going to be nitpicky about things, it definitely falls into a main support, which is still a good score. In the olden score systems, out of 10, it would have been something like a 7 out of 10. So good result there for High Reaper and Renewed by Death. Now, if you enjoyed the video today, please do like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you on another video sometime very soon. Take care.